everyone, and welcome to another episode of Which Please. It is I, Odin the Seer, and today what we're going to be making is ambergris. So the first thing you're going to need is a vial. I have a tendency to get the vials that are a little bit darker. I think they're not the cobalt ones, but the cobalt ones can be used. They're quite good as well. But I use the darker vials. I find that the oils have a tendency to last a little bit longer and still keep their magical vibration. You will also need the oils that you're going to be using to make the actual ambergris. So a lot of people think that it's something that you have to search for or something that's elusive. It's really quite simple. It is Cypress Oil and Patchouli Oil. That's all you need to be able to create ambergris oil. You'll also be needing droppers. Now, you can use the glass ones. I use those quite often as well. But at this point in time, I just have the plastic ones. I don't know if you can all see those. You can get them in any metaphysical store, not to mention any holistic healing store. And if you can't find them there, just go to a dispensary and you'll be able to find them. They're used for administering medications to babies. You will also need some form of carrier oil. I will let you know that I am using almond oil for this. Almond oil is a little bit more cost effective, and I just like almond oil. Now, jojoba oil is quite good as well. It has absolutely no scent, and it is a wonderful carrier oil. But if you don't have the funds to be able to use jojoba oil, please, almond oil, grapeseed oil, and even olive oil is another good one to use. And never underestimate the powers of coconut oil too. However, unfortunately with coconut oil, it becomes a solid at room temperature, so it all depends on really what you're making and what you're using. What you will also need is, you will need some tequila, so equal parts tequila and Cointreau or triple sec, and a soupçon of lime juice. And what you will also be needing is a glass. Now this has nothing to do with the actual making of ambergris oil. It's just that Odin likes to drink. You will also be needing some Rubicon guava juice purchased at your local East Indian Asian shop. And you just want to pour a little bit of that. You want to mix it ever so gently. Oppa! We are ready to get to the meat and potatoes of making ambergris oil. When I'm making Magickal, anything for that matter, I always like to burn a little bit of some sort of resin. Today, my resin du jour is basilica resin. And as you can see, all that wonderful smoke just feels so mystical and magical. Oh, can you feel it? You feel that? So, it is quite easy to make ambergris oil. So what we're going to do is I already have a bottle of ambergris oil that I had created. Now it's half empty now, so I'm just going to be using this bottle again because I always like to keep my ambergris oil topped up. Now for those of you who don't know what ambergris oil is actually, I believe it's the vomit of whale. And what it does is it hardens into almost a resin. And that is used in perfumes, it is used in magical workings. It's a very, very powerful, musky smelling type of resin. We don't have very many whales left, and we sure as hell don't want to be killing them for the ambergris. Ambergris has a tendency to bring love, it's about passion, it's about drawing people together, it's about communication, it's about loving the self. It can be used for so many different purposes. So, we take our bottle now, And what you want to do is I always start off with the cypress. Because I find that the cypress has a tendency to be the strongest of the base. At least when I'm using it for my ambergris. So I just put 30 drops of my cypress. Now, granted, I want you to know that this bottle is half full, okay? So being half full, I've only used 30 drops of the cypress. If it is a empty bottle, then you would want to up that to 60. Now we're going to take our patchouli oil, and we're going to put in 10 drops if it's half a bottle, 20 drops if it's an empty bottle. Now I will always mix mine clockwise. Anything that I'm doing where it's going to be calling in something, I always mix in a clockwise motion, because that is bringing in, calling in something. It's manifesting. That's what clockwise is. Counterclockwise is removing or banishing something. So if you're making something like keep away powder or keep away oil or hot foot oil or anything like those, you would want to do it counterclockwise to remove this block within your world. So Loki's telling me here that it's pretty smoky. And if you can see the smoke in the camera, I do apologize, but I'm a witch. There's always smoke and incense around me. Now always remember, when you are checking your oils, smell it. Intuition is going to be your best friend when it comes to magical working. If it doesn't smell right, add more of whatever you need. If you put a little bit of juniper in it, could it be that this is because of the fact that what you're doing, there needs to be a little extra kick? As long as the base is the same, you can still call it ambergris and still use it for the same purpose. If you feel the need or you feel compelled to put something within an oil that you're creating, and put it in, that's fine. And you can always go back and take a look and find out what that oil or that herb or whatever it is represents. You may find that what you're intuitively being drawn to is just that little spark that's needed for your specific purpose. Okay? So, having said that, I just took a whiff of my ambergris oil and I've noticed that it needs a little bit more patchouli. So, I just added an extra 10 drops of patchouli to my ambergris oil. And now I'm going to mix it. Intuitively, am I resonating with what I just did? I am most definitely resonating with what I just did. It smells spectacular. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take our almond oil or jojoba oil or jojoba oil or whatever you want to call it, grapeseed oil, what have you. We're going to take that oil and we are just going to top up the rest of this bottle. If you're using an essential oil, they can be irritating to the skin. So you always want to add some form of carrier oil to it to be able to dilute it a little bit. It also allows your magical oils to last longer, which is great. So it's a win-win situation no matter how you look at it. So now we're going to stir clockwise again, just melding these energies together. And sometimes I will do an up and a down. It's very important to know that the gestures that you are making while doing your oils or herbs or whatever are very important as well. It's that same mentality that people say, oh, the glass is half empty. I find that the ones who say the glass is half empty have a tendency to have a little bit harder of a life. But the ones who say the glass is half full have a tendency to have a better perspective on life and enjoy it more. So, when you're doing clockwise motions, you're calling in all the good things in your world. If you're doing counterclockwise motions, you're banishing what's wrong within your world. if you're doing the as above, so below, as above, so below. What is above? Anything the mind can conceive and believe, right? You can have on this physical plane of existence. So, what is above can also be below. As within, so throughout. And what that represents is what's inside of you is projected outwardly. If you have anger and disappointment and rage within your world, within inside yourself, you're going to have it within your world, right? If you alleviate and let all that stuff go and just feel peace and harmony and happiness within your world, you will not abide anybody bringing darkness into your world. It just won't happen, right? Not because of the fact that people won't try. They'll try. Trust me, they'll try. If you do not stop pushing my buttons, I'm going to throw something at you. Nobody drops their baggage at my door. Doesn't happen. Within my life, within inside me, I'm at peace. I'm happy. So, as above, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, you will achieve. So below, it can manifest here. As within, whatever's inside of you is going to be projected out. Your ambergris is ready to use. This is a beautiful it's a beautiful ambergris oil that can be used for your magical purposes. Alright everybody, it has been a pleasure having you in my space, welcoming you to Witch Please. You can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. You can always find out the information about us and our school and what we teach at hocusandfocus.com. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Feel free to message me on all the aforementioned media that we have going on. Peace and blessings, lots of love, and I'll see you next week.